All right, Susan Leahy here, and welcome to our final video in this 6-part mini course series all about supporting you to feel more confident when you are chairing and running your meetings. Again, my name is Susan Leahy from Robert's Rules Made Simple, and I'm super excited for this final video. It is one of the most important things that you need to understand as a chair, and that is how to make an intervention. How do you deal with difficult meeting participants? What do I say when someone comes in late, or when they leave early, or when they make a personal attack? I mean, this is really where I get a lot of my questions from the individuals who approach me and they say, Susan, what do I say when? I have been asked this so much. I actually authored an ebook called Chair with Confidence, Know What to Say When, and it includes over 40 scripted examples of how to make what I call meeting interventions in a way that doesn't just, that doesn't just crush the person, but actually just corrects the behavior and encourages the person to come back into a meeting. How many of you have ever been in a meeting and the chair makes a quote unquote intervention because somebody's doing something that doesn't feel good and they end up just like crushing and embarrassing that person? What's fascinating about that is if you do that as a chair, you're sending a very definitive message to everyone else on the board, which is saying, don't do it wrong or I'm going after you. And so we need to, as a chair, find a way to correct the behavior without crushing the person so that we can ultimately invite him or her back into the meeting. Because that's really what we want, is we want to encourage that person to redirect their behavior, redirect their energy so that they can become a productive part of the meeting. Now, the ebook that I was just referencing is a part of my Chair with Confidence online training program that you can be a part of at robertsrulesmadesimple.com. If you want additional support in any of these areas, you can go online, you can purchase that program, and you will also be prompted that you can purchase an hour of coaching with me. Now, I will tell you that that is the easiest and most affordable way to actually work with me one-on-one is to go online and to purchase that program from Robert's Rules Made Simple. So if you're having any issues with dealing with difficult meeting behaviors or bad participants, please know that you're not alone. And I'm going to share with you a couple of tips that will hopefully inspire you and give you a unique way to think about how do I deal with our difficult meeting participants. Now, first of all, what I find is that a lot of times we just wish we could get rid of those bad meeting participants, right? So what I want you to do as a chair is to take an intentional deep breath in. And I want you to know that when you see somebody who's participating in the meeting in a way that's creating a disruption, I want you to just say, at least they're participating, right? So acknowledge that person's energy and just own that you now, as the chair, have to redirect that energy. So instead of resisting their energy and want to push against it and get rid of it, I want you to acknowledge it, see it as energy, and invite it in the meeting, but then do your best to invite them into the meeting. Now, I'm going to share with you how to do that. So number one, don't push against their energy, acknowledge their energy, and then we're going to find a way to be a generous invitation. Now, making an intervention required me to think about, well, what goes on in my brain? So when I see bad meeting behavior happening in a meeting, aka someone leaving late, leaving early, making a personal attack, maybe just getting on their phone and texting too much, maybe side conversations. What I do is I acknowledge that I'm impacted. So as a chair, if you're having an impact, you got to own that impact as important, because if they're distracting you, if they're pulling your attention, if they're creating some resistance for you as the chair, then they're doing that for someone else in the meeting as well. So you have to make sure you understand you are speaking up on behalf of everyone in the meeting. So acknowledge what you're thinking, acknowledge what you're feeling. Once you've done that, you have to make a choice with respects to when you're going to make an intervention or when you're going to actually say something. You can do that at the beginning of the meeting. Next time you start the meeting, you can do it right there in the moment, and most interventions will happen in the moment, or you can do it before you end the meeting. So you have to kind of choose, well, when am I going to make the intervention? Most of the time, you will make an intervention right in the moment when it's happening. Now, the other choice that you have to make is you have to choose, am I going to do an indirect intervention, or am I going to do a direct intervention? An indirect intervention is something like, well, I'm noticing that several people are. So I'm not pointing it out to one person. I'm owning that this is something I'm observing in the group. So I just want to real quickly state that I'm noticing that several people have their cameras off, and I would like to invite those people with their cameras off to please turn their cameras back on, because it's more important that we see you and we know that you're in the room. Okay, so that's like an indirect intervention, inviting everybody, as opposed to a direct intervention, which is Sam, Susan, and Jonathan, I see that your cameras aren't on, right? So that's using their direct names. So making an intervention will always feel awkward. I just say that. Like, it's always going to feel awkward. It's always going to make your heart beat. But what I want you to know is that you are making this intervention on behalf of everyone else in the meeting. That is your responsibility as a chair. So number one, acknowledge when you know an intervention needs to be made because you're seeing, feeling, experiencing this energy that doesn't feel good. And then next, ask yourself, when am I going to make the intervention? At the beginning of the next meeting, right now in this moment, or at the end of the meeting? And then ask yourself, do I want to make a direct intervention or indirect intervention? Now, I want you to just do something real quickly. Which one do you think you would feel more comfortable doing, direct or indirect? Ready? Answer that question. I'd be more comfortable doing a direct or indirect. So whatever you said, I just want you to hold that that's the type of intervention you do too often. So I want you to practice to get outside your comfort zone to try to do the other one a little bit more. Some people are more comfortable being direct. And so sometimes you as a chair probably need to be a little more indirect. Some people like to be indirect. And their growing edge and what they need and what your board needs of you is for you to be a little bit more direct. So this isn't about saying one is better than the other. It's about saying that you probably have a preference and try to utilize the other one a couple times more. Right? So again, all of this information is covered in my ebook, How to Chair with Confidence, which is a part of my webinar-based training program that's Chair with Confidence. That's at robertsrulesmadesimple.com. I also work directly with chairs, coaching you and training you and teaching you how to bolster your confidence as well as to increase your competence when it comes to the people and the process side of your meetings. Your job as a chair is to make interventions. It will never feel comfortable, but it's always important. So I want to thank you for your time, your energy, and your life. I want to say thank you for your involvement in this 6-part mini-series. If you haven't seen all of these and you'd like to see them all, please visit my website, robertsrulesmadesimple.com, and sign up for my free video library. All of this information and much, much more will be there. Again, my name is Susan Leahy, and happy meetings.